Good evening, Christina Fasonic. How is it in Wheeling, West Virginia this evening?
Well, it is so warm out this evening that I am out on my back deck for the first time to do a broadcast in quite some time. And though I had to bring a lamp out here because it's a little dark, but I couldn't resist the opportunity to do another WCONA Live from my back deck. So it's fantastic. How is it over there in PA?
It is, well, it's so warm that I went outside and saw that it was warm.
Well, that's more than usual. So there you go.
I see you have festive holiday decorations in the background.
I do. Some pumpkins back there, but I do still have some of my dead tomato plants out here, you know, just to keep it real. All right. Who do we have on tonight?
We are super excited. We have a luminary of Pittsburgh letters. We have KRISTOFER Collins for y'all. Chris is not only, I mean, he has like 3 people's worth of credits. It's amazing. He's not only the publisher at Low Ghost Press and the books editor at Pittsburgh Magazine, he's also the co-host of the Hemingway's Summer Poetry Series, which they have more than poetry. I've seen nonfiction incredibly read there. And fiction to boot. Over the years, he's created a name for himself with projects such as the new Yinzer and the Bridge series. His latest book, The River, is another kind of prayer, new and selected poems, is recently released, and he lives in Stanton Heights, which I want to talk to him about that, with his wife, Dr. Anna Johnson, and their son, Cassidy. Let's bring Chris on out here.
Hello.
Hi. Good to be with you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. We're so excited to hear your reading.
Thank you.
You live in Stanton Heights.
That's right. Yes.
I lived in
here a long time.
Like 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Where were you at?
Fairfield Street.
Okay. Great.
I liked Stanton Heights a lot.
Yeah. It's nice and quiet for the most part. For the most part.
So you're going to read some poetry for us?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
We are very much looking forward to it.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. We're going to disappear, and we'll come back when.
Okay. Hi there. I'm just going to read 5 poems, and we'll see what happens. This is called Spirit Lodge, Saturday Night. Since the pandemic, I really miss bars. I did most of my writing in bars, so I miss them a lot. Spirit Lodge, Saturday night. When in doubt, return to what you know best. The gorgeous dark, 8 steps down, and the violent gaze of an archangel. The warm lacuna, dim with blurry voices, and the boys in the back baking up pizzas. Flour dandering their beautiful beards. The corner vending machine advertising smoke and coke, and the cool contours of a cherry red chopper announced themselves like the last band to ever play the decade. Like the advent of winter's first freeze, the streets of Lawrenceville are glazed sweet with the stuff, and old Allegheny Cemetery keeps its secrets stone still. Under the sagging cloth of early January, you say you could drink the bottom out of this town and still have room for one swallow more. More of this black beer beating the glowing butt of your lips. More of this swirling organ aching as a broken femur. More of this dance floor dotted and luminous as a million freshly minted pennies. The Spirit Lodge on a spectrally quiet Saturday night grants shelter to all this spooky shit that goes bump in our brains. Holds its arms wide in welcome to the demons of our damned foolish decisions. We share so much and say so little sequestered here. The new year creeping across Butler Street, calling our names and pointing to the clock. This next poem is called Survival. When we talk about money, what we are really saying is, I am so afraid. The retired ladies at the bar talk about Medicaid and the election. There's been another shooting, and that abandoned house finally burned down for good. It's easy to believe that every day, death is winning. Just because we share a six-pack in the neighbor's yard, it doesn't mean we know each other. Watching a baby take her awkward steps feels less like a triumph when she hauls off and kicks the dog, laughing. But at night, sometimes we say the word love, and it isn't something abstract. Down along the hillside, there are deer standing in the road. In the morning, we'll know if they survived. I'm going to read a newer poem. This is based on a true story. This is called Jack T Gargan Buries Louis Armstrong's Oriental Strut, Mesa, New Mexico, circa 1926. This is for the Pittsburgh poet Nancy Kradowski. Nancy, I'm writing you from here in the year of everything falling apart, where Jack T Gargan sings the oldest blues he ever heard on the radio, where half of this August sky is smudged with rain, and the rest is simply too tired to try, and where the voice of an old friend sounds distant and frail, like a thing wounded and struggling in the ditch, gone to ground in the fresh mud, whispering names of the no longer living. And then, all too soon, he is gone too, leaving only the mourning dove perched over the street, lamenting in my ear. And then the breeze is picking up, warm on my neck like a damp washcloth, and everywhere around is just more loneliness attired in familiar shapes. The shadows the blowing leaves throw around mirror these intricate webs of blood vessels crowding the loose skin, sunk beneath the eyes of some other old man awash in light and loss. And lifting the tarnished curve of his horn to papery lips, Jack T Gargan, somewhere in 1947, his heart piled up with booze and debt, but still a suppleness to his mouth, a flash of something dangerous in the hard set of his jaw, something finally empty of tears. And here he is again, a young man kicking the desert dust of Mesa, New Mexico. The sky here unchiseled by itinerant clouds, but still cruel in its cherished adolescence and far. With his knees in the sun-packed dirt, his hands become trowels, the bones in his fingers breaking the ground, gouging something greater than a grave into the land. Here to bury this fragile shellac, this bright utterance from the uncageable soul. He believes it will now outlast all of America. This fossil to be locked under the hard earth. Voices in glory, never silent. Forever there, should we need the reminder, Nancy, that such things matter. The very best of us will last long after the worst of everything is only a shameful memory. I'm going to read two more quick poems for you guys. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for having me on. This is called A River for Huff. This is for the poet Albert Huffstickler, Texas poet. I think of you often when the coffee has cooled, and though this cup is chipped and the country itself gone to hell, I do believe poets belong everywhere and can do some good. I believe the needle stuck in every heart stems from the words first sharpened by poets in small, doorless rooms. You say you were only looking for a way out, mistaking your pen for a key. I say we never make mistakes. Today my wife has left me with a pot of the dark stuff, 2 cats, and a bottomless ache. She asked for the river, and so the river is here. In winter, we watch its stillness from the window. Have you ever seen a frozen river from this distance, Huff? It's the spike, readying to strike the silence in your chest. It's the first word to pierce the heart. The first good thing every day. And going to read one more. Thanks again for listening. This is called The Ruff Roller, based on a Lee Morgan tune. There is a great banging coming from inside the brewery. While out here in the sun, my blood knocks at the blue ceilings of my veins, like an irate tenant in the apartment one floor down, unprepared for the first blast of Lee Morgan's trumpet as the Ruff Roller kicks off its assault on the funk-deprived asses of Butler Street. The outdoor benches are bare of shade, and the spring-shocked trees of Allegheny Cemetery, absent their green regalia, stand there in a stupor. God damn, it's really gonna happen. The winter has donned its shabby hat and shown itself the door. They arrive like Romero's hungry children, the sun and this last day of March crawling around their faces, ready for renewal, eager for sex and the gauzy, delinquent decisions of warm days and warmer, more spectacular nights. A nod is all we need to say, we survived. The world didn't end, and that was not a guarantee. Touch my hand. Put your hand to my cheek. I am so happy. I'm so happy to see you again. The sun is shaking its beautiful fat ass all across the sky. Etiquette demands we do the same. Thanks a lot for listening. Thank you.
Chris, that was amazing.
Oh my God, I had so much fun. That was awesome.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yes, I really love. I mean, there are some juicy lines in all of those poems. I love the gorgeous dark, that poets belong everywhere, and of course my favorite, the sun shaking its beautiful ass. I love that. It's fantastic. Wonderful.
Thank you.
It's so strange. We have both been in the Pittsburgh literary scene for a really long time, and I have never seen you read. I must go all the places you're not. When you're, it's the strangest thing.
Yeah. Well, Pittsburgh's so crowded with writers right now and events that, or at least it was before the pandemic, that it's easy to go a long stretch going to readings and not seeing the same people all the time. There's so many great writers here, so. That
was such wonderful work. I love the line, the last day, like the last band to ever play the decade. It's like almost dispatches from a wise and lonely front. And he just seems so haunted by Pittsburgh and language and epiphany and compassion. I could listen to that. I could listen to you read for like an hour and a half. So
me too.
To help me live out my dream, tell us, where's the next place we can see you or hear you read?
I don't know. This is the last thing I have scheduled for the year, to be honest with you. So I don't know.
Okay.
Whoever would like me to read, just get in touch.
I have some ideas on that front.
Yeah.
I definitely have an idea. We'll talk about that.
Be happy to.
We are celebrating Low Ghost Press, your press. We've got two of your writers coming up on November 5th is our Low Ghost Day. We have Bart and I believe we have Taylor.
That's right, both of them. It's going to be great.
Yeah, we've got new books that just come out from Low Ghost Press. We're super excited.
Yep. Wonderful writers.
Yes.
I would say that even if I had not published them, they are wonderful writers.
Awesome.
I would try to steer away from their publishers, honestly.
Wow, that's awesome. So thank you very, very much for being on tonight. Next week, we have Michael Nost, who is going to read some spooky stuff for us in honor of Halloween.
Or Halloween. Michael, you were telling us before we got live, he is a Bram Stoker Award winner. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So, and he does. He has a movie in production from one of his books about the Mothman and all kinds of other cool stuff. So we can expect great things, I think, next week. And I've heard him read, and he's fascinating. So
no, we'll have Moral Terror.
Are you coming in costume, Damien?
I'm always in costume.
It's a mask. Face like a mask.
There you go.
Thank
There
you
go.
again, Chris, for being on. You were simply
My pleasure.
wonderful.
Wonderful work.
Wonderful.
Thank you. And thanks everybody for tuning in. See you next week.
See you next week, everybody.